3:30 on CBS. And it's about to be the first time in a long time the battle for the jeweled shillelagh has been on CBS. Notre Dame at USC, 7.5-point favorites for Notre Dame. As a favorite of 7 points or more versus USC, Notre Dame 7-2 straight up, just 2-7 against the spread over the last 40 years. Fighting Irish have not covered the spread on the road at USC since 2012, losing 4 in a row, going 1-3 straight up in those games. And when Notre Dame has 1 loss or fewer entering the matchup versus USC, from 94 to 2009, they were 0-5 straight up. But since 2010, when they're in a position like this, they're 6-0 straight up. I would expect the best effort out of Notre Dame. USC is, like we said, they're a talented team. They are, 6-5, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? 7-4, 6-5?
6-5.
They're still a top 20 power rated team. So, they're still up there in those, which is why you see the spread of 7.5 and not 16.5 like some people thought it might be. And I just think you get the best. I mean, really, over the course of his career, Marcus Freeman's teams have had no issue showing up in these big games. It's those games against Marshall and Northern Illinois and lowly Stanford that you have to worry about. So the question will be, how effective can the offense be against the USC defense that it's playing a lot better over the past month? And D'Anton Lynn will probably devise a pretty good plan for Riley Leonard. So we'll see what they can do, and we'll see against Jade Mayaba, the new USC quarterback, how effective Notre Dame's defense can be. Obviously in the secondary with Xavier Watts back there, but hopefully, we'll see if Howard Cross is back for this game. I would think, taking the Army game off to a little more rest, he'd probably be back. Him and Riley Mills, stuff in the middle, trying to stop Woody Marks is pretty good. So, outsider's perspective, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this game.
I mean, I just want to know, can USC hold up to the physicality of Notre Dame? And I think my favorite quote of this college football season, and I'm not trying to be prisoner of the moment, maybe in many seasons. I'm sitting there, I told Tyler this, and he cracked up. He loved it. We all know about if you're a big Rocky fan, when Clubber Lang, when they asked him, what's your prediction on tonight's fight? And he goes, pain. When that Notre Dame game was getting ready to kick off, and they're sitting there interviewing Marcus Freeman, and he just looks into with a kind of like a real confident, just like intense look on his face, and they asked him, and he said, so, what's the keys to the game on defense? And he just goes, violence. And then she looked at him and was like, what? And he goes, we must be violent. We have to be the more violent team in this game.
You don't hear coaches, saying that in public. I'm sure they say it in the locker room a lot, but you don't hear a lot of coaches these days talking about violence because kind of a taboo word.
Exactly. And they said, what about the offense? Violent. We want to be violent in every aspect of this game. And that's what I think when I watch Notre Dame play, honestly, that's what I think of them. Like, they are violent on the line of scrimmage. They pop you on defense. They get you to the ground. Like, they're not missing a bunch of tackles. They're fundamentally sound. When you think of Notre Dame right now, like, I guess really the knock is, like, maybe they don't have the super freak athletes on the perimeter or whatever like that, but they get after you. Now, USC does have some speed on the perimeter, got a dual threat quarterback. So obviously I think Lincoln Riley wants to turn this into a perimeter game. And how will Notre Dame handle that? Because Notre Dame hasn't played many teams that can turn it into more of a perimeter game. Louisville could a little bit, and they played well at Notre Dame. They gave them a little bit of a game. So another little nugget on this is too, Tyler. I looked at USC's schedule when I was looking at this game. They've only lost one home game all year, and it was a 3-point overtime loss to the number 4 ranked team in the country right now.
Yeah.
Penn State. Yep. Their losses have come on the road. Their failures have come away from the Coliseum. So I do think that this has a chance to be extremely interesting. But I just can't see I cannot see USC, man, being able to hold up against the violence that I think Notre Dame is going to bring in this game. And I think Notre Dame finds a way to win. Honestly, like, I don't know that any result it would shock me a little bit if USC won the game, but it's not going to shock me if this is an absolute just all out battle and Notre Dame wins close. It's not going to shock me if Notre Dame wins by 14 plus. I will be impressed, though. I don't care what USC's record is. I just said that USC's, again, their only home loss is a 3-point loss to the number 4 ranked team in the country. If Notre Dame does go in there and just punk them in the Coliseum, that will very much impress me. I'll take Notre Dame to win this game. I have no idea as far as the spread is concerned. I'm staying away from that. But I think the Irish I think they get it done.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Very rarely does this game kick off at 3:30 Eastern, so it's 12:30 local time out there. Yeah. It's usually a night game, so it'll be interesting.
Did you say Howard Cross is back?
I don't know yet. No, okay. Haven't heard. So we'll see. He sat out the past 2 games with a lower body injury. So, but yeah, it's a win and in situation for Notre Dame. All you got to do is win by 1, by 20, doesn't matter. So,